and welcome back. It is Rapid Dawn. Hope you had a great time on sports and Eastern Circle. We're back as we promised you, 9 o'clock, where we're having a great conversation. Now, last week, 29th, we never had the opportunity to, intensely dissect all of the achievements of Mr. President's scorecard for 2 years in office. Now, if you know, there's so much pressure leading up to 2027, and it's almost like nobody's talking about what has he even achieved to be able to come back to govern Nigeria again, or rather to lead Nigeria again. Well, it's still part of it. So the Ministry of Information did release certain achievements. According to their scorecard, they say that the president has achieved so many things. I think about 8 items that were listed out to mark his second anniversary. And they talked about over 900,000 beneficiaries of presidential loan and grant scheme. They mentioned that over 300,000 beneficiaries of student loan scheme. They talked about over 440 ongoing road projects, including over 2,700 kilometers of superhighways. They also mentioned 3.84% GDP growth in the fourth quarter 2024, highest in 3 years. And they mentioned 70,000 naira minimum wage payment, over 13,500 terrorists eliminated was what they mentioned. And they also said over $50 billion in new FDI commitment, net foreign exchange reserves, 8 billion in new oil and gas investment unlocked, 4 new landmark tax bills, 5 new regional development commissions, over $800 million realized in processing investment in minerals in 2024. Now, these are some of the achievements. I did see another publication where there were other achievements listed out there, and I think they were about up to 20, and I'm like, okay, great. How did we not see all of these achievements? But this morning we do have a guest who is going to be joining us to look at these achievements, and we'll see how he's going to score the 2 years in office of Mr. President. And we do have a guest in the person of Usman Alhaji Lawan. He's Executive Director, Sustainable Development Synergy Initiative, and also he is the Director of External Affairs, National Youth Assembly of Nigeria. It's so great to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me. Sincerely appreciate it.
Yeah. So we're going through the achievements, and you were just looking like, okay.
Come finally.
Did I miss something? First of all, let's just start with a very flat question, which is, if you're a lecturer and you're to score your student, the president, how would you score him?
Well, honestly, as you said, I will actually score him 60 over 100.
That's a good score.
60?
Yeah, that's a good score. Because honestly, as you just mentioned all this, is even now that I'm hearing all these achievements, because I didn't know, maybe if me have a kind of more years ahead, he may achieve more.
Oh!
That's to tell you that we have a good will on the president, but still, I know he's trying his best, but, due to the high level of complaints and the public, there is a lot, he's trying his best, honestly, I must testify, but he needs to put more effort to see that he satisfies not even 90% of the population. Because all this achievement that you mentioned is actually for a certain segment of people. Take a look at the Nile Fund, it's students. And to be honest, I watched series of online reels and all that, so there is kind of comments actually from the students that some high level of students are even complaining that the loan is actually difficult for them to access. And for me, honestly, I didn't see the impact, as the Nile Fund, as an achievement, honestly. Because if to say that he have prioritized it, or make it in such a way that he can actually do it in a very great way. But I think there are some key things that are more important than this Nile Fund. Yes.
Like?
The whole structure of the Nile Fund, this is actually supposed to be like this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually supposed to be in such a way that maybe he can have a system where these are period universities, and these period universities are owned by the government.
Of course.
So there is no way you can say that you pay school fees to federal government. It's like you kind of yeah. So what I should rather have advised the government is that they have ways. Government have ways to see that they actually waive this school fees for actually less privileged students, because the kind of what I see in this year, there are some students that they are not how should I even say it? They are not supposed to be entitled of the loan
Because they can't pay back?
No, they are actually, some actually, their parents will give them a kind of what do you call it, a kind of school fees, but they will refuse to pay because they see government actually
Okay.
so not knowing the implication of it, because at their young age or something. So honestly, what I should rather, they could have do it in such a way that they can just, they have to critically examine the student. Of course, there are students that they cannot afford to pay their school fees, but they have critically, have to develop a kind of a system where they can, identify those students. Once they identify, to absorb them without, giving them the money or giving the polytechnic, or sorry, giving the university. So I know government have their own ways, but this is the only observation, I have on the NEL fund. And for the rest, the whole rest, you
think it's okay? Okay, I think this is the part where...
Okay. So from everything you have said, it looks like all of the achievements that have been listed right here is satisfactory. But I personally cannot say that a product is finished when it's still in the manufacturing process.
Absolutely.
Take, for instance, you have, let's say, a drink, a bottled water. One of the first stages of production of that bottled water is blowing up the bottles to contain the waters first. And then after that, you fill in with water and then you seal. But the process where you're still blowing up the bottle, you cannot say you have completed that project, because the end goal of that is to have waters filled in those bottles.
Absolutely.
I'm using this analogy because you have said that the government had done well with all of these things that they have been listed in the papers.
No, I didn't say they have done well. She actually asked
Hold
me
on.
to give a score.
Because if you're giving 16,
because as she said, if I was a lecturer, and for me, if I'm a lecturer, I'll be a very good lecturer to give students good marks.
Good marks, okay. So let's look at the fuel subsidy. One of the major economic highlights of the President Tinubu's administration was that they had removed subsidy. Just this morning, we also saw that the NNPCL was being sued because there's about $300 billion unaccounted funds for the subsidy. So how do you label that an achievement when there are still monies that have not been accounted for in this? It was being called a scam. Subsidy being paid is a scam. We heard it in all the manifestos of these presidential candidates. But a bigger scam is when the monies are being realized from the subsidy and are not properly accounted for. Do you still think that that's an achievement that should be labeled by this government as the key achievement for the second year in office?
Honestly, it's not. And in fact, this news is actually something very, we have to be ashamed of this, we as Nigerians, honestly, because this is something that we can't be proud of it, honestly. It's something that if you take a look at it, is actually affecting us directly or indirectly, because this news actually would be a foreign news, and it should be a public embarrassment. As a kind of a scenario where a subsidy is being removed, and unfortunately it's not even channeled to the government. So honestly, as you asked, this is not an achievement, honestly. And to be honest, as you said, it's this morning, so I didn't even heard of it. And honestly, there is always something I always to say in interviews and opportunities where I talk to public. You see, that's what I start saying initially. Government should have a system where they can actually take a look at priorities. I see no importance, or it's not actually imperative to see that government have actually removed subsidy. Previous government have actually do a lot of infrastructure with removing the subsidy, without removing the subsidy. Sorry, but as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came, he just took up the subsidy. And you see the level of complaints, the level of hunger in the country is actually getting so much. So what I'm just saying to all of this is that actually government should have a strategy where they can actually absorb young people. Young people in the sense that I always believe that young people are like raw materials. we are actually like raw materials. If we are treated positively, we will actually work toward that positive line. And if same line, if we are actually treated negatively, we will also work toward that negative line. So I believe that we have a lot of ideas.
Okay.
And Nigerians Nigerians also believe that we should also believe that we have no any other country but Nigeria. So we must learn to love our country.
Okay.
And this is the only country we have. We have no any other country. No matter where country you go, maybe US or something, you are still a foreigner. Being you have a citizenship whatsoever, this is your fatherland. This is where you rest. So honestly, I think we should government should have a way of prioritizing things that will impact the society directly, not just segment our categories of people. As you just mentioned, all this, you know, the infrastructure you mentioned is, I think, is for certain categories of people, not just public direct. The whole world's achievement, honestly. So a lot need to be done. I know Mr. President is doing his best, but to be honest, a lot need to be done.
Okay.
And I know he is also receiving the level of complaints public are actually receiving. There is a lot of complaints. People, you know, it's kind of scenario where you take a look at things are actually skyrocketing. Not even the prices of things or something, but the kind of what do you call it? The kind of insecurity that we're actually having currently. The thing is actually escalating. I didn't know. Maybe if you had it, the recent bomb attack here in Abuja. And all that. So a lot. If the capital territory is going to be attacked, then where is it safe? We actually need to be done. And lastly, I want to advise government or any person that has, you know, a kind of a say in this government, that we cannot actually fight insecurity without fighting social inequalities. So we must have to take a balance. We have to fight inequalities, because majority of these criminals or maybe bandits that were being, you know, if there is an interview you will see with security officers when they will interview a kind of a criminal or something, he will actually say that he didn't have anything doing, and suddenly this thing actually came through. Then he actually used the opportunity. So government should actually fight inequalities. We should stay away from this selfishness and sentiments all the way. We should just focus on fighting inequalities. And once we are done with this, inshallah, we are absolutely going to end this insecurity. Because this is my actually belief that these people, honestly, this whole of these people that are actually having this, engaging in this whole of this criminal attacks and all that, are actually due to lack of things doing. But and yeah.
Before you go for that, let me just interrupt you right there. The level of insecurity or hunger or poverty is not targeted to, it's not just a one-man problem.
Absolutely.
Literally everyone in one way or another, even the privileged class that we think about are still experiencing a decline in their influx of resources because of the economic policies that are being introduced by this government.
Absolutely.
So when we are talking about giving a reason to criminality is where I have concern. Because you have a choice, I have a choice. It's not all rosy for all of us, but we made a decision.
Absolutely.
So singling out these criminals and saying it's because of this, that's why there's this. Do you know there's always going to be hunger?
Absolutely.
There's always going to be poverty.
Absolutely.
So should we now make excuses for these people who perpetrate these crimes because they are hungry? No.
You actually didn't get it. Okay. I didn't say that we should give a reason to criminality or something. But what I'm saying here is government should take a look at it, because the level of insecurity is actually going to be high. Government cannot actually tackle 100% insecurity. There must be a certain categories of people that will actually engage in insecurity. But the issue here is government should have a way where they can actually do their own in such a way that they actually reduce the level of it. And how can they actually reduce the level of it? Because try to understand what I'm saying. A kind of a mindset of a poor man is actually being altered in such a way that by this, you know, artificial created poverty. We are actually blessed. We are actually blessed in Nigeria. No one can doubt that. We are actually blessed. So a scenario where someone can actually come in and say that and create artificial poverty to a kind of society and expect that society to live peacefully. This is something wrong. That's what I'm actually saying.
Weaponization of poverty.
Sorry?
Weaponization of poverty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because this is what is actually happening in Nigeria. Take a look at Zamfara.
Okay.
Zamfara are well blessed with these goals. This gold, this whatsoever. It's actually blessed land. It's a scenario where a kind of a poor man in a village can actually pick a gold in actually in the street. But see how it's actually going. I think they are one of the poorest states in Nigeria. And look at what they have. So you see the situation is actually not balanced. In such a way that this poverty they have is actually being created artificially. So I think there is so much to be done on that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's step into the party very well.
Yeah.
No offense, but are you what's your political affiliation? Would you want to share that with us?
Not that really, but to be honest with you, I didn't have any affiliation or maybe something of that.
Okay. All right. So
I am just a citizen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a very great answer. So let's now go deeper, knowing that you don't have any political affiliation, and so it makes it more sweeter.
Absolutely.
So you said that you can score the administration of 2 years 60%, and if my memory serves me very well, a person who's able to get 60%, it therefore means that that's like a B.
It's getting
you're in a very high B, actually, a very high B. But when we go out there to see the reality of things.
Well, I think I'm going back to this score, honestly. I'm going back.
Do you want to rechange? You want to reassess your score?
Absolutely, I have
okay,
to.
let me hear your reassessment.
Because the language you use, you said that if I was a lecturer, and I see myself as a good lecturer to give students a very good.
Okay, so are you going to score your students when they don't deserve it?
No. How would you score a student B?
Yeah.
Right, when most of his answers were half.
You actually mentioned the achievements yourself.
Yes. As stated by the Ministry of Information, which of course we have to verify.
Okay, you haven't verified.
No, this is what the Ministry of Information is saying. Yeah. But now, when you were speaking, you even mentioned the NEL fund, and you even mentioned the inefficiencies.
Absolutely.
Do you get?
Absolutely.
So how can something like that? That is why you're here. Yeah. How can something like that be scored a B when even you have accepted that NEL fund is having some hiccups? Some students are complaining that, which of course we'll even talk with NEL fund on Wednesday. You know, some students are complaining that
they can have access to the
school have access to the fund, and of course some schools are hoarding the funds and even slashing the funds.
Yeah,
there are a lot of so in all of this, can we exactly say, okay, this is 100% achieved? Oh, in this area of beneficiaries of presidential loan, have you seen anybody who told you at Alhaji Lawan that he or she benefited from the presidential loan and grant scheme? Have you met anybody by hook or by crook?
Absolutely, I would say yes, because there was I didn't meet that person actually physically, but maybe by the trends online. I see someone testifying that yes, he actually received his NEL fund. Yeah.
No, the presidential loan scheme.
Yeah. He actually no. I think I think he's a student. He's even given a testimony that he received the
that one is for the loan scheme.
Yeah. So he received the NEL fund, and he was actually being paid, I think, a kind of a stipend for his foodstuffs and all that.
Okay.
So I think that's it, but I didn't see any.
So which means that at the top, which is over 900,000 beneficiaries of presidential loan, that means there is nobody that we can see.
And besides,
has benefited
this even online people, someone can just even be paid, just go and make testimony, even if you didn't receive it.
You see, now you agree with us that there's some loopholes in this achievement.
Absolutely.
So do you still want to stand by your score, 60%?
No. I
feel like you feel attacked. So
absolutely, I'm not attacked. Honestly, I'm not attacked because she's actually saying the truth. Okay. And I feel that honestly, I have to reduce this score.
Okay. What would be? Let's see. What would be?
You will be shocked because I'm deducting 20, making it 40.
Making it 40. By the time we are done this morning, you will reduce the score again. Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we will see if we're able to convince Alhaji Lawan to reduce the score till maybe 10%. We'll be right back.
Hello, Rapid TV. My name is Kunle Remy.
Hello, Rapid TV. My name is William Suchemba.
My name is Choma Chukuka.
Hello, Rapid TV. My name is Stan Nze.
Hello, Rapid TV. My name is Vivian Glam Gabriel.
Hello, Rapid TV. My name is Jide Kene.
Hi, Rapid TV. My name is Steve Chooks.
Best Afrobeat song will go to The Bunch and Snoop Dogg, Oliver Twist.
Piece of my heart, Wizkid.
Right now, will probably be Grateful by Fino.
My favorite Afrobeat song is Afrobeat.
I can't. There's so much.
It has to be one of our Rasta songs.
I love a lot of them. I don't think I have a favorite Afrobeat song right now. I cannot pick.
Aki and Popo.
Living in Bondage.
It has to be between Blood Sisters and Lionhearts.
I don't have favorite anything. I have favorite food. I have favorite colors. I barely have favorite any other thing.
Oh my God. Living in Bondage. The first one. I'm not a child.
Right now, a ghetto love story.
Okay, my favorite Nigerian dish would be
Banga stew with rice.
Come on now. Okwa.
Pounded yam and egusi soup.
Beans and plantain.
Is oha soup. Fufu and oha soup. Thank you.
Bread and akara.
bitter leaf soup with catfish and snail and fufu. Proper Santana. Apple.
Nekedu keke ime. Idi sure ne de mma. Idi kwoi. Ilalo ofuma tata. Iteta iligo kwenni. Man ndị gị n'afọ. You nwee ike mee things. You understand? Okay.
All right, welcome back. We're still looking and assessing the second anniversary of the Tinubu administration. 2 years in office. What do we have to show for it? And if you're just joining us, we did highlight some of the achievements as stated by the Ministry of Information, not by us, by the Ministry of Information, just to get that clear, so that you don't say that we are telling you Tinubu's achieved, because before you see me on the road and want to punch me and say, Cynthia, I'm angry with you. You people said it's not me. So we have been able to talk about the loan scheme and, of course, the presidential grants, the non-fund issue. And we've been able to get our guest to reduce his score from 60 to 40. Let us see if we can able to get him to reduce that score again as we delve into the issue of insecurity.
Why are you interested in beating down the score?
It's not. We just want to see how well our president has done. Now, I believe you're a very good lecturer, and then when you begin to look at each answer of your students step by step, it will help you to know if this student really did well or not.
Absolutely.
Let's look at insecurity. Yeah. Now, they did say that over 13,500 terrorists eliminated. That's what was stated here. When you look at the security situation of our country, the invading of so many communities, people have to be displaced. In 2025, we're still discussing about how people cannot sleep in their homes. And I will tell you, this is so close to home, because even in this office, we have people who their family have to run health centers in their villages because of banditry, terrorism, and the likes. Now, would you say that this administration is handling and tackling insecurity in the most appropriate way to the benefit of its citizens?
Honestly, no. Okay. In a single word, that would be my answer. Honestly, no. Because I didn't know, maybe if you see a kind of a press release being by the Amnesty International recently on this killings of she didn't even the organization actually didn't actually pick points the key state that have been affected with this insecurity. She didn't even mention Maiduguri for that matter. And Maiduguri, I think, is one of the key states, if not to be the first, I think will be among the key states that have to be mentioned in a state that have been affected with insecurity. So, and the whole issue is being, I don't know, how should I even say it, but every day is being fueled every single day. So, to be honest, government are very, have a kind of, have to input more effort in this. Not to even input more effort, to even develop a kind of a system where they can actually build a kind of a system where that we can actually see a transforming a transforming situation of this insecurity, because it's actually very poor. A country like Nigeria, we call ourselves kind of a giant of Africa. We have been respected across all the African countries, and now see how our country is actually becoming. I dare you, there are some foreign investors, that are even willing to come to Nigeria, but unfortunately, due to the, the kind of insecurity that they actually see, they can't even take the risk of coming. I previously worked with an NGO. I know how this foreign people wanted to invest, but taking a look at the current situation of insecurity in Nigeria, actually setting back on all this. Yes. So it's actually affecting us. Directly or indirectly, it's actually affecting us. Government should actually transform, not even to add more effort, to transform the situation. That's it.
So do you still want to maintain your 40%?
No. I maintain my 40%.
Before you
know if you want to maintain or not that.
What reforms? Because you're calling for a total overhaul of the security agency, because you're saying is not to work on it. They need to restructure it completely.
Absolutely.
In what areas do you think this restructuring should be done?
Well, from the origin, actually.
Okay.
Looking at the whole system, you see the whole, a kind of scenario of even at the early stage of recruiting the personnel. Personnel. We actually need to take it more important in such a way that you see a lot of good people that actually want to join the service are actually, withdrawing interest gradually because of the, a kind of a level of training and all that being, displayed to the public.
Okay.
A kind of people that, maybe that are, one way or the other having issues are actually the people that are even picking interest in joining the service, which is actually very challenging to us. We have to actually we have to make the situation, the recruitment process a kind of very simple and somehow very, they have to take a kind of a process where they can screen the best candidates to see that it's not just by, making him to be so rude. I don't know, But
if you ask me, I don't even think that they are ruthless. Because
no, I'm not saying they are rude actually, but what I'm saying is that they are good people in such a way that actually want to join the service. But due to the level of hardship, they have been actually
the trainings.
Yes, the training. Not
or ill treatment of soldiers.
Absolutely, because
no care.
Yeah, take a look at U.S. embassy. U.S. militaries. I saw a military man who is a military for that man, not even a police officer, a military who is actually doing good and a kind of a level of expression, and he's actually doing good. But he gave a testimony that he cannot actually work in Nigeria because the level of training, some of the training is actually not even. He didn't actually see the importance of that particular training.
Okay.
He can't see. Well, let me also add that he might not be able to see the importance of that training because the level of insecurity they deal with over there is quite different from what we have there. Hostile situation requires hostile measures. I don't know if I'm getting that right.
But let me get this very clear.
Okay.
Haven't you seen a scenario where a U.S. Military was being taken to, what do you call it? Is it peacekeeping? To another country, and they were able to tackle that particular.
Exactly.
But you know that statistics, last year, statistics was released, and that said that most of the Nigerians that left, their personnel that left Nigeria to other countries or other parts of the world for exams, they did exceedingly well. In fact, some of the most performing.
So why can't them actually do it around our country?
So now I'm being interviewed.
But we have to come back to asking you. We do asking
exactly.
The
so the thing is, if I will pick up something that you have said from your observation about, I don't think it should be made easy for just anybody to get into the force, because the problem.
No, I'm not saying that it should be easy.
Hold on.
Take my note. It shouldn't be easy, but it shouldn't be screened in such a way that it should be. I didn't know how to use it.
I think it should.
They are making it somehow, hard.
Do you know why I think that's necessary? A lot of Nigerians apply for service not because of passion, Now, I might not have statistics to back that up, but look at the rate of unemployment that we have in our countries. Most of the people that will be applying for those jobs when there's an opening are people who want to work, are people who need the job, not necessarily because they are interested in fighting or combating that crime. Because most of them who apply for those jobs will not go to those areas where there are insurgencies.
Absolutely.
So if the process is not strict enough, how are they going to be able to filter those people who genuinely have passion for protecting the lives and the property of citizens of their country and the people who want to earn from the process?
Well, thank you very much for this question. Okay. The people that you just mentioned, that the people, some majority of, or to say, let me say 60% of the people that are joining the post are actually joining because of they actually lack something doing, or they don't actually have something to do. To be honest, Nigerian police is something that you have to develop an interest, not just to be a kind of a no-option situation.
Exactly.
Because if you just have yourself at a no-option situation, you just see like, it's something that you can just, you know.
Let me just try because I don't have a job.
And a scenario where you just have yourself in and you find the work not interested, so you'll be ready for any kind of a
compromise.
Yes, that's why you open yourself for all of this, you know, bribery and all this, and from a level of, you know, so many police officers were caught in a scenario where they are you know, aligned with these criminals or something. So that's what I'm saying. The process need to be checked, checkmate actually, to see that, ensure that we just don't make the process hard. We just add professionality in the recruiting of the personnel. People that are in already, but should be actually oriented and trained in such a way that if we have to actually bring foreign people to come and train, we really have to do that. Because you actually said that our personnel, when when they are actually in a peacekeeping mission, they are actually doing very well. So why not in our country? Our country is experiencing a lot. And recently I saw a video of one Nigerian army personnel actually recording that they have all the will, they have all the necessary requirements. They just want order to just be inside.
That brings me to my question.
Yes, to just be inside.
Do you think that politics is being played with this? Because
absolutely,
like you said clearly,
no one can even say that there is no politics in this.
So you think that the Nigerian government is playing politics with the life of humans?
Not Nigerian, must not be necessarily Nigerian government.
Oh, it's which government? Russian government?
No.
Political players?
Political players. Thank you very much. Because you see that in this country, we have people that we call cabals. People that
so you believe in the cabals?
Yeah, they are. Even in US, they have cabals. Even in US, there is cabals. In talkless of Nigeria, there is cabals in Nigeria.
So the cabals are more than the president, that he is not able to stand firm and serve his people right until the cabal
you need to critically understand this. Some of these cabals that we are actually taking are inside the government.
That's why I said the government.
Yeah.
That's why I said
but no,
the
you
government.
can't just say government directly because we shouldn't be attacking the government.
For what you're saying, the government is loyal to the cabal, whether they are inside or outside. So what it means is that for the cabal members who are inside the government, they are running things. For the cabal members who are outside the government, they are helping the ones that are helping those outside to run things. But however, in or out, the government is unable to do certain things because the cabals probably would not allow it to do so, which means that the government is loyal to the cabal. And because of that, Nigerians have to keep dying until the cabal say it's enough.
Absolutely. But we should at least, what I'm saying here is we should at least, our government, I previously said it, we have no any other country but Nigeria. This is our fatherland. Our government should just have this kind of a mindset of, you know, building our country in such a way that we shouldn't be having doors for this even cabals to come in. There is a saying that what God cannot do does not even exist.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So once you actually believe that you don't need these people around you, these cabals. Well, let me tell you something. These people that you're seeing, these cabals, they are even, you know, when someone is affected by, what do you call it? A kind of an illness in a body. So these people are, assuming a body is Nigeria. So assuming, let me take you a kind of a level of illness that can actually describe cabals in Nigeria. They are actually a cancer.
Okay.
So no matter how the level of chemo or treatment is actually been injected in, we just have to, it's either been, you know, cut or maybe eliminated or maybe, but no matter how they are inside, because these cabals, they are very unknown. You don't actually, you cannot pinpoint them unless with the few people you know. There are people that you don't know them directly. They are just behind closed doors. And they are so muchly respected by these government authorities. There was a picture of former CBN governor, Godswill, Emefiele, He is actually bowing down to this one cabals. Imagine a CBN governor bowing down to one cabals and receiving an orders. So, if there are a lot of them, there are people that used to call themselves that I will make you a president and I will make you a governor. So, what do you expect if that particular person that actually believe in these cabals actually find himself in that particular position that he actually been promised by these cabals? So the kind of mindset actually of these cabals actually need to be taken away from us.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we wind down to ending the conversation, although we're not able to analyze all of the other areas, but I am definitely sure that there's some things. Maybe subsequently we would have those conversations as time goes on. But for now, let us see one area that we can touch very briefly before we have just a few minutes. But let's see one area we can touch very briefly, which is in the area of the economy. People are hungry. Now, there are lots of speculations that in the north, you people are not happy with Mr. President. And we've seen several posts, videos of people complaining that, oh, there is no food. But then some persons were like, no, the North is enjoying while the South is suffering. There have been this whole divide. But it seems as though now everybody is crying the same thing in one voice, in unity, that they are hungry. In the area of the economy, do you think that the president is doing well?
Absolutely no. Yeah.
Do you still want to maintain that 40%?
Yeah, I still maintain the 40%. You know why I maintain the 40%?
Why?
Because no matter what the level of critics or the level of inabilities in government, they are still running the government because it's not stacked at a place. They are still running the government, but there is a lot of deficiencies actually. And if you take a look at this whole of this inflation, it's not just Nigeria, it's actually a nationwide inflation. And the level of hunger actually in our country, as she previously said, no matter what the government can do, there must be a hunger. But the level is actually, it's actually overwhelming, and it's actually much. So in such a way that governments actually need to strategically actually positively and meaningfully engage the community. Why I said positively and meaningfully? Because it's not like we don't have the money. We have it. But to be honest, there is a lot of misplacement of priorities. All this hunger that you are seeing can be tackled within a week. I assure you. I'm not saying that I should be a president or something, but I'm just advising. But all of this hunger can actually be tackled in a week if we actually placed our priorities, give our priorities to key areas that actually need to be addressed.
Okay. All right. And it's so funny that sometime last week, I did see a story making headlines talking about how the federal government was going to deploy AI to identify poor Nigerians. And I saw that and I'm like, how exactly is the government planning, or how do they intend?
Maybe you have an answer for that.
How do they how do they intend to identify the poor masses of society using AI?
They didn't even have to use AI. Even that particular man that released that press release will extract 40 from his environment.
From within his family alone.
Yes, they don't have to use AI now.
Exactly.
They don't have to use AI.
Okay.
It's very open.
That's a shame.
Honestly, to be honest, there was an interview I saw. The media house is actually from Bauchi. They were conducting a straight interview. So accidentally they meet a Yoruba man. So the Yoruba, they asked him actually to speak Hausa, that how can he actually rewrite this government. He said he said it in Hausa that the president should actually have to step down and actually allow someone to go in. So honestly, I'm not challenging the government, but this is to tell you the level of how hardship is it actually. No matter what, you need to at least, government have a lot of ways, especially Nigeria. We have a lot of partnership. Let me give you an example. There was a time I was opportune to be in Brazil embassy here in Nigeria. I interacted with the ambassadors and all that. I come to realize that these people are actually willing to see that they coordinate, they actually partner with young people. Because they give us an avenue where we can do a program in the embassy and do a lot. So this is to tell you that they are actually willing to, and I didn't even know until when I have myself in the embassy that all cassava, the whole origin of cassava is from Brazil. And the current cassava that Dangote is actually using for his business is being exported from Brazil. So they're actually willing to partner. And a lot of them, there are a lot of countries that actually are willing to partner with Nigeria, but the kind of avenues, the kind of coordination is actually very poor. That's the honest.
Okay, so I really don't know why Alhaji Lawan does not want to change his score. A government that is not working in terms of economy and food security, a government that cannot, manage the life of its citizens in terms of security, a government that looks as though they don't know what they are doing and it will take them a lot of years to figure it out. A government that is giving us numbers that we cannot exactly verify. A government that wants to use AI to find poor people. I have never, ever heard that AI will use to find poor people even in the most technological advanced countries. And he still wants to maintain 40%.
You mentioned very something that I pick interest in it.
Okay.
The fact that you said that they didn't even know where they are, or what. You said something like that. They didn't even know where they're actually heading to.
Yes.
You think so? So you want to reduce your score?
To be honest, no. Okay. It's not like I want to reduce my score.
Because I was going to.
You see. Okay. Let me tell you something. You say that I actually didn't tell you. I actually tell you this. In this 2027 general election that is coming, if not being, I'm not a political analyst.
Okay.
I'm just saying it from the level of experience I experienced from Nigeria. And the thing is actually, it's actually something that is actually going on every single day. And people are not even willing to see that they actually make a certain correction on that. The issue here is, you see this president is actually, if not people have actually engaged in politics, such a way that they have a kind of a system where they will change their approach to politics, Mr. President would actually be re-elected in 2027.
He will be re-elected in 2027?
Absolutely.
Even with
the level of hunger, with the level of everything. Let me tell you something. What actually happened in 2023? You previously asked me about political affiliation. I currently didn't have any political affiliation. But previously in 2023, I was a fully party member of PDP.
Okay.
And there was a time I drafted a book, Rev Challenges in Nigeria. I was able to host presidential aspirant wife, Tita Atiku Abubakar. She was at the hall where all the party people, party national women leader, a lot of governors, Governor Oti of this was also there. A lot of dignitaries actually. So I launched that particular book. In fact, I will be within the midst of that party people. So I come to realize that they even have themselves, the kind of level of motivation, they even have themselves, they were like, just imagining that they are in the bill already. And not because of the all aspect that shows the indication that APC will actually fall that particular moment have indicated. What are those things? The Naira, the cashless policy, and the whole hunger and all that. So suddenly he emerged. Do you know what actually what have they actually did? A day to election, these people actually came out with all of this spaghetti. Do you had? No, it's true. It's true. The whole artificial poverty that is being created. You are here in Abuja, that's why you didn't know anything about it. But people that actually are in the rural areas will actually give a testimony of that. The level of hardship, poverty that is actually being artificially created in the mindset of a poor man.
Yes.
Cannot be overemphasized. To be honest.
All right.
Yeah, to be honest, let me go this, please. Sorry.
Before we go,
Yeah.
our time is fast spent.
Okay.
So which means that we might need to like conclude very soon. So let's just hear what you have to conclude the show.
No, well, I'm almost done.
Okay.
I said the level of the level of poverty that is actually being created, you know, cannot be actually overemphasized.
Okay.
This will tell you, this spaghetti of 1,000 or thereabout, I can actually make someone to waste for his future for almost 4 years. So this is the level of country that we are. Everybody knows that it's against the law to even do a campaign at maybe election.
Before
2 years ahead.
Yes. So honestly, this is something that we actually, the kind of mindset.
And you still want to maintain 40%.
Well, I think I would agree with, you know why I agree with his 40? He did make mention of something that was very important. He said, regardless of the fact that it's not working, it's still running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it cost a lot to get the government running.
Absolutely.
So the 40% should be retained. I mean, without pride or prejudice.
High five.
For maintaining.
Take it high so that we'll go higher in Nigeria.
For maintaining.
Exactly.
For maintaining that.
All right. Thank you so much, Usman Alhaji Lawan, for joining us to assess the Tinubu's administration 2 years in office. We do hope that when we sit back again, hopefully for 4 years in office, we will be able to have something rejuvenating and exciting to talk about. We do hope so. Thank you so much, you two, for joining us from 7 up until now. It has been a great conversation, myself and Martha, this beautiful morning from 7 up until this time. Don't forget that you can follow us on our social media platform on Facebook and Instagram and X. And of course, you can hit us up on TikTok and see every video that you probably have missed. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel, Official Rappy TV. And of course, this conversation will be uploaded on our YouTube as well. And you can move anywhere with us with our website, www.rbnradiotv.com. Cynthia Agbo is my name.
And I am Martha Allo. Thank you. Until tomorrow.
Bye.
So nobody introduced me. Bye.